Quilters, today's show is all about completing the first steps for this AQS AccuQuilt-Along.
Stay tuned and see just what we're up to today.
Hi Quilters, I'm Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert.
And I'm Erica Botker, AccuQuilt's creativity expert.
Okay, it's a time again. We're super excited. Welcome to part one of the Go Star Rainbow Quilt AQS AccuQuilt-Along. Today, the lovely Erica and I will be showing you how to cut your pieces using the Go Star die. And then we're going to show you how to lay out your blocks.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about
talk a hot minute
about organizing and laying out your pieces, because it really, color placement really matters with this.
Yes.
Plus, we're going to have live question and answer all throughout the show with AccuQuilt's one and only customer service representative. Well, we have more than one, but this is the lovely Miss Emily. She's our in-house moderator today.
How are you?
And you are like a symphony in blue over there, aren't
it's like
you?
All the things match.
blue. I'm so excited, and I'm actually going to be doing this quilt along with you guys. So I'm excited to be, learning all these fun tips and tricks that you're going to show us
And
today.
what colors are you going to do?
I'm going to also do rainbow, and I'm using all scraps.
I love it.
Very excited about it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, Emily has a different morning star pattern than the
Right.
one we're making behind her. The one we're
Yes.
making, it's behind us.
So be sure to ask any questions you have in the comments section wherever you stream our show. Our team is going to send them to Emily, and then Emily's going to relay them to us. So huge shout out to our team who is helping answer and moderate those questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Quilters, in case you missed it, the first show for this Quilt-Along series was a little introduction. It was 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday at the end of Pam's AccuQuilt Live that talked about making the split back star
For the Quilts of Valor.
Quilts of Valor.
Yeah, Erica just busted in.
I just busted in and
Caused
took
a
over.
little ruckus.
Caused a little ruckus like I tend to do. So we are going to be using the Go Morningstar die, but there are also traditional rotary cutting directions available in the AccuQuilt blog from that day 2 weeks ago. We're going to be talking about tips for organizing your pieces. We're going to look at some different variations. It's going to be a fun day.
So Quilters, it's beneficial to watch that show before you start on the Go Star Rainbow Quilt. So be sure to check it out. It's on AccuQuilt's video gallery, our Facebook page, our YouTube pages. And while you're there, you should make a block for Quilts of Valor. Just
There
giving
you
that
go.
plug.
There you go. All right. So I have got all of my many fabrics here.
Shall I go back and talk about the quilt behind us?
Oh, let's
just
go
real
back
quick?
and talk about it.
Okay.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Okay. So this is the Go Star quilt and Rainbow Quilt, and I love it because the background is gray,
Yes.
right? And all solids, and it's beautiful. Now we're going to talk about cool blocks and warm blocks.
Right.
And you'll notice that this quilt has two different kinds of blocks. In your quilting head, you think, oh, there are many, many different blocks. Is not true.
It's just
There
two
is
different block
This
layouts.
block right here and this block right here. So we're going to need 4 of these and 8 of these. And Erica and I are going to refer to them as the cool and the warm blocks.
And that's going to follow along with the pattern.
It is.
Now, no matter how you plan to cut your project, whether you're rotary cutting it or using the die like we are, you'll want to go ahead and download that free pattern at AccuQuilt.com for those assembly directions. And trust us, we have ours handy
Yes.
at all times,
All
right?
All
times.
all times, okay? Do you love mine? It's Halloween. Okay, Erica, you're going to go first because I'm
Okay.
super excited about my blocks.
Okay, so here's my big old stack of fabrics, all 13 of them, plus my background. And let me grab my box.
Don't forget, if you have questions, put them in the comments section. Our team will send them to Emily.
Yes.
So I kind of started out by making 2 of each
I'll move this
to
because we'll
get
talk about
an
that.
idea, because we're going to talk about this for a sec.
Oh, yes.
How pretty.
Isn't that beautiful? Erica and I picked out the fabric. It was very fun.
So
Take a friend and go.
then,
However,
then I decided to make 2 cool blocks because sometimes Pam and I have to, oh no, we have to put them up here because we have to
yes.
see where they're going to lay.
yes.
Because sometimes Pam and I work ahead because we've got things to do.
Well, and we had to have samples for you.
And we
for
have to
our
have
show.
samples for you for our show and blog posts and things like that. So I put this together and I liked it, but then I decided that this fabric read lighter than this fabric, so it should be switched. So I remade a block and that my purples needed to be switched.
Oh, look at that.
So I remade the block and look at the difference that makes. I really like the dark, this also reads darker than the plaid.
Right. And we'll talk about this, but Erica has many, many colors in here, like 12.
I have 12, yes.
Okay. Okay, so keep talking.
So then,
She sent me a picture of this. And
so I sent her a picture of the first one, and I'm like, what's wrong? Then I'm putting pieces of fabric over pieces of fabric on my design wall and taking pictures.
Yes.
And then yesterday, we had the lovely and talented Lynn Gibney here in the studio,
Yes.
so I'm showing her all of my pictures.
Right.
And Lynn said, well, maybe you want to take those inner blocks and use your background fabric
Look at how
on
cool.
that.
This is my favorite, by the
Now,
way. Gibney did good.
Look at how different it is when you do that.
Right. Because this is the center of your quilt.
Right.
This is the yellow in the middle of the quilt. And I actually think the Gibney was brilliant. in
I think
saying
so
that.
too.
Don't
So,
tell her we said that.
so
but-
this is going to change up, I think, my whole thing. But here's how I got started, because I think we should talk about how we got started. So let's just leave one out, because that pretty much stayed static.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that in just a minute.
Oh, okay.
We're going to talk about
What do you want to talk? What do
I'm
you
gonna
want me
show
to
my
do now?
blocks.
Oh, all right. Mine are out of the way now. She can't stand it. She's in love
Cannot
with them because they're Halloween.
And
So excited.
okay, but it was important for you to see Erica's blocks.
Right.
Because she has 12 colors and I have 7 colors, and I didn't have any drama with mine because look at this. They're Halloween-y colors.
So this is your warm. This is what you're calling your cool.
Uh-huh. Right, cool's on the
You're
outside.
going to have lots of these purple squares, which is delightful because it has spiders on
They
it.
have spiders in the middle.
So this is going to give you a very different look.
Right, right, than Erica's, because you have so many colors.
Right.
And with me, what I did was I chose a light purple and a dark purple, a light orange and a dark orange, a light green and a dark green,
Right.
and then the background.
Right.
And so, depending on your colors, quilters, we feel that it's really important to make a warm and a cool test block
Yes.
and kind of see how it all works
really is.
together.
It really is.
Because even like Erica, you're going to have to take out, these corners, but it's
Right.
not going to be a big deal. You can
It's not
switch
going to be a
those
big
out.
deal. I can switch those corners
Right.
easily, but I wanted to have them here so that we could talk about that.
Right. So in my case, it worked out beautifully because I didn't have that conflict.
Right.
Right? Okay. All right. Now let's talk about how we changed up our colorways, and then you can talk.
Right, because we got started with both of us working in Go Quilt.
Yes.
And Pam, you've got yours printed, so I'm
Yes.
going to let you talk.
Okay. So this was, I took the pattern, I put in the colors that I wanted. Notice I have a dark and a light orange, a dark and a light purple, a dark and a light green. And then I just played with it till I thought it looked cool, and then it did. Okay. Now, Go Quilt is going to allow you to change the color of thousands of patterns, including this one, but it will also let you, you can take a picture of your fabric and upload it to Go Quilt, and then you can manipulate it that way as well.
That's
For
right.
me, it didn't make a difference because I just knew I had a light and a dark of the 3 colors.
Right,
Right?
right.
Okay.
But we took this, I took the picture of it that I took on my phone
Yes.
of it to the fabric store.
Oh, my,
and
yes.
that, if you haven't gotten your fabric yet, we suggest doing that
Right.
before you even go to the store or the store in your quilting room. to
some
pull
of you
your
are
fabric.
making scrappy, and I'm loving it. And with Go Quilt, there's a tutorial to help you get started. It's
Yes,
literally like
super
4
simple.
minutes.
Super, super simple.
Okay, so before we go on, Emily, do we have questions? Because I feel like we do.
Yes.
Actually, you have perfect timing because Joanne is wondering, is it necessary to have so many fabrics? I started making a quilt with 2 colors.
Yes. So answer to that is yes. I made it in 2 colors, black and white grunge. It's my favorite. But the mornings, this one is supposed to look like a rainbow.
But it doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to
If
be.
you want to do it too, here's the thing, it's your project and your creativity. If you want to do it in 2 colors, it's still going to look stunning.
Yes, it is. And don't forget, you can share your fabrics and your blocks with us on the AQS Facebook page. It's called the AQS Parade.
Quilting Project Parade.
There we go.
Facebook group.
And then share them with us, tag it with hashtag AQSews,
Yep.
SCWS. And then
Yep.
Eric and I can go through and look through and see what everybody's
Yes.
doing. We'll comment.
Yeah.
So do we have more questions, Emily?
Well, I'm really excited for Deanna's interpretation, and I think talking about Go Quilt right now is so perfect because she wants to try and figure out how to make it into a giant sunflower.
Oh, please do.
Please do that.
Can't wait to see a
Please
photo
do,
of that.
and share that with us.
Yes.
Radiated browns
Yeah,
and
browns
yellows.
and
on the-
yellows.
Oh, I
Yes.
love
and
it.
And Tammy's curious what the name of the quilt is behind me today. This is the Go Morning Star Blues Throw Quilt pattern. So, Rhapsody in blue.
There
So
you go.
pretty.
There
It's
you
so
go.
pretty. And it must use the 12-inch cube.
That's right.
Yep.
All right, so should we talk about the die and then
Let's talk about the die. Let's
we
talk
can cut
about
some
how
fabric.
we planned our cutting.
Yes. Okay. Here we go. This is the Morning Star die, hands down my #1 favorite die at AccuQuilt. I have made more Morning
Yes,
Star
we
quilts.
both have made a lot
Yeah,
of these.
hands down my favorite. It's on a 6x24 die board, so it's going to fit through all of our cutters, including that Go
Yes.
Me. You want to make sure you have a 6x24 cutting mat
Yes.
to go over it. Now, Erica, this is fabulous because it only has 2 shapes, diamonds, and then these are
Half-score triangles.
Yeah. And I love the fact that our diamonds have the dog ears cut off and that quarter.
Actually, triangles.
Are they
Pam.
triangles? Did I call them diamonds?
You called them diamonds. That would be a
Oh, they're
further point.
triangles.
They are
and
triangles.
what are they? Isosceles triangles.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
I wrote the script wrong. It's okay. Triangles. I was super excited about it. Triangles. We've cut off the dog ears. We have the 1/4-inch seam allowance. You can cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 layers of cotton, so you can cut 36 in one pass. Which, keep in mind, maybe you don't need 36.
Which brings me to how I figured out how many pieces I did need.
Yes.
So this is what I did
Yep.
with my warm box.
Okay, you get those out, and I'm going to talk about, you can fan fold these. We're going to show you how we're going to cut our pieces since they're not directional and since they're triangles, not diamonds.
Missing my color guide. So I used the coloring sheets. We both did.
Yes, we did.
So you can find these coloring pages. If you haven't found them yet, we talked about them when we first talked about the block. They're in the block assembly directions that are free to download on the dies page on the website. No matter how you're cutting your project, these are really helpful.
Yes.
And it's in the block assembly directions. It's the last page. You can print just that page if you want. You can print more than one copy of it, like I have several over here. But I made a chart for myself and numbered all of my fabrics
Well, that was smart.
to help keep track of them.
There you go.
Then I numbered them and colored them in on my coloring sheet. And then I figured out how many I would need because I wrote down warm so I'd remember, and I needed 4 blocks. So I looked at this and I only had one of shape 1. So with 4 blocks, that meant I needed to cut 4.
Right. So keep that in mind. You don't need 36 of these.
Right.
Or even 18 of these.
Right.
You just need 4.
Right.
Okay.
So then I went on to shape 2. Okay, there's only 2 of these. I've got 4 blocks, so I need to cut 8. So I went and did that calculation beforehand.
She did math in her head.
I did math in my head.
Yep.
This one was easier. That's why I'm showing you this one.
Okay. So, and then let me show you how I did
And then
it.
the background I did separately.
Yeah. Okay, let me show you how
Here's how
I
Pam
did
did
it.
it.
Because how fun is this? This one has more colors. Okay. So I just took little snippets of my fabric. Everything else is black, the background.
Right.
Except these. I made sure I put black there so I
Right.
remembered. And then I just glued them down
With a glue stick,
with
yeah.
a glue stick. Okay. And then here's what I did. And I did the same thing with Erica. This is a warm block. This is a cool block.
Right.
We only need 4 of these. Okay. So that's really important. And I like the fact that you wrote how many pieces you did. I did on the pattern.
Oh,
I just
okay.
write, you know.
And you can write it down again. It's whatever works best for you.
Right.
We just like to bring different ideas to the table. And contrary to popular belief, sometimes we do things differently, Pam and I.
We do, but this is hilarious because how we store our pieces is the exact same way we stored our pieces for the log cabin.
Yes.
I'm using Ziploc bags.
Yes.
Ziploc should give me a
Sponsorship. Yes.
So here's all my triangles. Okay?
Yes.
Here they all are in all these colors. That's it. And then when I cut them, I just put them in here. But Erica has a very fancy way of
Well,
storing. You
got-
just have more pieces.
Right. And I got this little bin when we did the log cabin quilt
Yes.
along. And so I just repurposed it and added more spots and put my numbered fabrics in the little slots.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So I did not have room for my
Background.
so it is living in a zippy bag.
Yeah.
So here we go with the zippy and my others. And because I changed midstream, I'm going to need fewer of these 7 pieces than I originally thought I did. I thought I didn't have enough fabric at first,
Right. Now you have plenty of fabric.
but I have plenty now because I
Okay.
changed it.
So storing your pieces, keeping them separate, you need to keep track of them if you're making more than 2 colors.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, that is crucial. So get the coloring page, download it in whatever fashion you want to do that, and then store your pieces.
Right.
Okay, so before we cut some fabric, Emily, do we have questions? I bet we have so many.
Yes, well, Melody would like to clarify, do you really need 4 yards of background fabric according to the pattern?
Yes, because you're going to
Yes,
cut
because
setting triangles.
the setting triangles are going to match
Yeah.
that.
And it
So
looks
if we
like
go
the
back,
binding also
Pam's
might
gonna
be
show
that
you why.
gray.
Okay, so look, these are 12-inch setting triangles,
Right.
and they're all sides. There's no corners.
Right.
So a good chunk of your fabric is going to be for these setting triangles because we turn those blocks on point.
and there is also a thin outer border then on the outside of that as well.
Yes,
Oh,
right here.
yeah. And even the binding is the background color
right.
too. It all just kind of goes beautifully.
It all just kind of fades into the background so that
Yeah.
really your shapes are meant to be your focal point.
Right.
I don't
right.
think I'm going to put a border on mine now that I see that.
You're such
But
a
I'm going to bind it in words because I love that.
I love it.
Okay, so shall we cut some fabric and then we can show, well, we showed the 2 different colorways.
I think we definitely need to cut some fabric because that's what we promised people we were going to do.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to cut some first. We have 1 cutter because we can get along. Again, it's going to fit in all of our cutters, including that Go Me. So here's what I did. I measured from here to here, rough cut my fabric, and now
And it's just about 12 inches.
It is. I think I just rough
Which
cut.
means that if you are buying yardage, you want to get 1/3 of a yard.
yes.
Because that's, if you're buying yardage and you're just going to be cutting a few of these, you might want to look at getting 1/3 of a yard because that's going to cover, that would cover all 6.
Right.
Depends on how many of them you need to cut.
All right, so I'm going to cut some skulls because I can,
Oh, how cute.
and then I'm going to cut my background. Now, we can always cut 6 layers, so I could fan fold. I actually, Erica, did you not cut all your background at one
no,
time?
I haven't. I have some background to cut.
Okay, so I'm going to lay my mat on, and let's talk about this tail while we cut it.
Yes, so this is a great reminder that this extra bit of fabric, if you've got room for it. So if you're using this die in a Go Me, you're going to want to rough cut along the side of
Yes.
You're going to rough cut the width also because you're not going to have space for this. But with a Go or a Go Big, you're going to have room to roll that fabric up over on the side, and it is not going to get hurt. It's not going to cause a problem.
No, don't be scared.
That's one of the great things about having a larger cutter to me.
Oh, yeah. Okay, give it some love. Slide, don't lift.
So Pam, were these all from the same fabric line, or did you get to pick and choose from?
I picked and choosed because it was
She
Halloween.
did pick and choose.
And I think, Erica, you put in the blog like
pretty much most of mine, yes. They're all in that introductory blog. I've got them all listed
great.
out. Now, most of mine are the same fabric line except for my background. So my background is a B Basics and Backgrounds. It's designed by Lori Holt for Riley Blake
love
fabric.
Lori Holt.
I love Lori Holt's fabrics. And then the rest of it, okay, I definitely need more of these, having made that corporate decision. And I had been cutting some of these because I was remaking my box, so we'll cut some more of these.
Okay. Do you need some more other colors cut?
Oh, probably, but I don't know
Okay.
what else I need.
Erica's in the middle of changing hers, so
I'm changing mine, and I
so
don't
next
usually
week when
do
we
that.
go over how to sew the quills and the worms together, Erica will tell you what she's made a decision about.
That's
but I'll
right.
cut these for you.
Okay, that would be great. Now, I've got Riley Blake fabric also for my prints. This is from Hello Spring by Sandy Graves.
Pretty.
What a great name, Sandy Grapes.
And while y'all are cutting, Joni is wondering, Pam, what makes the purple and orange a cool block and the other is warm, or was it the other way around? Can you kind of go through like how you decided to?
Okay,
you
so
know?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to determine what color I wanted on the outside of my design.
Basically, we're following how the pattern is written.
I
And
know,
so
rogue. We are not rogue at all
So-
this time.
if you were, so use that like a label, not necessarily a description, because the pattern written the way that it is with these colors on the inside, the cool colors on the outside, that's how they have the blocks laid out and
See how that looks?
designated.
So I wanted my greens to be on the prominent outside cool.
Right.
So in my case, they're not really cool and warm, but just the colors that are involved in it.
Right, like
and I
outside
loved
versus
the fact that,
inside.
yeah, so see right here, there's all the greens, and then this is like purples and orange in the middle. Mine actually, the ghosties kind of look like candy corn.
Actually, they do. I hadn't thought about that.
too.
We had so much fun going through Halloween fabric for that.
It was fabulous.
I bet.
Okay, and you also want to check out the AccuQuilt blog because the lovely Erica will post each Wednesday
Yes.
during the Quilt Along to go over the
Yes.
details from the day's event. So be sure to sign up. It's available on the AccuQuilt website, and then you're notified whenever a blog post goes live, which is
Right.
helpful.
Now, some of you may be cutting with fat quarters. So like with this one, I had yardage. I got 1/3 of a yard. Well, I only needed 4 pieces, so I've got a lot. I probably should have pulled that from my stash, but I was so in love with all the prints.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
So some of these, let me
So
find
you'll notice,
one.
quilters, figure out how many B's you need and cut your B's first.
Cut your bees.
And then figure out how many A's you need and cut your A's, just like Erica wrote it down. And then I think for me, what I did was I divided them by the cool blocks and the warm blocks. Like how many light oranges did I need? How many dark oranges?
One of these was a fat quarter, and I was trying to find it.
Keep going.
No,
I love it. Erica and I
No.
went to the fabric store again together.
I
I
know.
love that.
We're going to start not letting us do that.
All right, while she's looking, Emily, do we have
Oh,
questions?
this is a fat quarter.
Yeah, Joy was just wondering how big the finished size of the project will be, which according to the pattern page, it looks like it's going to finish out to 53 by 53.
Yes.
So really nice size.
It is a nice size. Now I made this pattern for my daughter and son-in-law for a wedding gift, and I did the gray background. Their colors were gray and blush pink, and I started with a blush pink in the center and then went out to a dark burgundy.
It was beautiful, by the way.
And I put a wider border around it just to beef it up a little bit and make it a little bit bigger. So that's something to keep in mind that you can do too. Now, Lynn Gibney, clever Lynn, ambitious Lynn, she made essentially 4 of these and put them together using scraps from every single quilt she has ever made.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I did an AQ Live.
Yes.
About a year and a half ago on a Wednesday where we talked about this block, and I took a photograph of some water and some rocks and some trees and foliage.
Right.
And then from that, I chose colors.
Yes.
Remember that? And then I made it for Mason's Emily for Christmas.
Yes.
That's right. That was such a fun show. I remember that.
Remember
now.
that? That was a really fun show.
That was
And that's
cool.
another way to be inspired if you are kind of stalling out and you're not sure what to do. This is my fat quarter, by the way.
Show me how you cut the fat quarter.
With the fat quarter, I found my selvage edge, my tight edge, and I didn't even subcut. I lined it up and I fan folded over it.
See, there you go.
So I went ahead and did it that way, and I still have plenty left over. You know, you may want to think about using your scraps that are left over from this for a scrappy binding, but we'll talk about binding later.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Would that be fun?
That would be really fun.
I just thought of that, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have plenty for that.
Right.
All right. Okay, Emily, do you have more questions while we're answering them?
Yes. Jane is wondering, the
Jane.
instructions talk about subcutting first. Can you talk a little bit about subcutting?
Yep, let me get my ruler
Absolutely.
and I'll show you.
Here, let's cut some. I need some more background, so we can, why don't
okay.
we cut some?
So here's, let me help you make your quilt here.
Oh, I guess I already did subcut.
Okay, so what we did was we measured from the edge of this point to the edge of this point.
Okay.
And it's about 12 inches. So I just cut 12 and a half inches with the fabric. Well, actually, I think I just cut 12 inches. It's 11 and a half.
It's 11 and a half.
That way a yard could get 3
Right.
sections of them, okay? So when we talk about subcutting, we talk about just adding 1/4 of an inch on either side and rough cutting with the fabric, because then we can fan fold.
Right.
Quilters who say to me, I'm wasting fabric, are not subcutting.
Right. So I've got this one ready to go. It's at 12 inches, just like Pam said. And we can very easily now go ahead and fan fold this. And let's just do that.
Let's just do that. And notice, quilters, remember, our dies are only going to cut where there's fabric in a mat.
Right.
Okay, so don't worry about that.
And I'm leaving my little selvage sticking out because you know I keep those. And this is such a cute one. Lori Holt
is
puts
super cute.
adorable
Right.
Hi,
selvage
Lori
edges.
Holt, we love you.
She puts adorable selvage edges on her things. So,
I'm kind of a fangirl of hers.
oh, I am too.
Yeah. Her and Corey Yoder.
Now let's talk about the yellow, because my yellow is my center. So this yellow plaid is going to be my center. And I only needed 4 of the half square triangles of this.
Right.
Now because it's a plaid, we'll talk about that.
Here, hold on. Let
Okay.
me put this off.
Oh, look at this good work you're doing for me.
I know, I'm trying really hard to help you out here.
Yeah,
That way you can just go home and sew.
I can go home and sew.
Love teamwork.
And there I've got 6 layers. I had 6 layers. There's 6 shapes.
36.
That's 36, and we had very little
Yeah.
waste in
Okay,
that at all.
so when we talk about subcutting this, we're going to do the exact same thing, quilters. We're going to measure from side to side. It's 4 1/4 inches. So just a little bit like 4 3/8 or 5/8, whatever that is. And we're just going to rough cut. But Erica only needs 4, so watch how
I only
she's going
need
to lay
4,
this
so
down.
this is how I'm going to do that. Can you hand me some scissors? Because this is also plaid, so we're going to,
Would you like
as they
scissors?
say, yes.
Or I have a rotary cutter and a
No,
ruler.
I want to do scissors because this is, and I got to come over here.
Okay, I'm going to move.
This
so
is
you can-
why, because it's a plaid, and plaids sometimes are not printed absolutely straight. So when you get when you're prepping plaid to cut, you want to go ahead and cut a straight line. Cut following the fabric.
Oh, wow. go.
So see how I'm going to follow
Oh, look at you go.
right along that pink edge
Isn't that brilliant?
so that I know I'm really well squared up.
I love that. So Erica, Amelia says, you know, we all know that Pam lives and breathes for Halloween, like her favorite holiday. Erica, what's your favorite holiday?
Oh, I do love Halloween. I love fall quilts. I love Christmas though.
Christmas is her jam.
Christmas is
I think she probably has more Christmas quilts than Santa.
well, it's possible. Now that I have a straight edge, I can use that to use my rotary cutter. And I am going to cut this strip and then, oh, we need a new blade in this. Did somebody cut something they shouldn't have with our rotary cutter?
I believe Kenyon did. It's true. I watched
Dun,
him
dun, dun.
yesterday. Oh, maybe it was Jill. It was Jill. We're totally blaming Kenyon, though.
Jill isn't here.
Jill isn't here to take the heat, so we're going to totally blame Kenyon.
Actually, we told her she could.
We were
'cause
here yesterday doing a video shoot for an upcoming
we
new
threw
dye.
our body in front of the Karen K. Buckley scissors, and we said we can replace a rotary blade for less than that.
Hey, do you want to dye? It's right there next
So
to you.
I do.
It's right there next to you.
So now what I did was just cut these. Now because I've cut my right along my line, I know I'm good and straight. So I'm going to make sure that everything lines up with that front edge, and I overcut just a little because, you know, it's plaid.
Hold, please.
Hold please. And then just used a smaller mat.
There you go.
Watch. It is magic.
And I love it when that happens.
Don't be afraid of plaids.
Oh, Erica, Julie's also wondering where you got that little fabric storage case, the little plastic one with all the little cubbies.
Just
Like in a craft
store, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, my friend.
You know, everybody loves an excuse to go to the craft store. I mean, why
Right?
not?
So because I laid those out, now we've got, how did they go together?
There you go.
They're going to go together.
Like that. See? Don't be scared of
Pretty.
plaids.
Oh,
Erica,
look
show
at
you how to do it.
that.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
And they're going to line up perfectly, and you're going to look like a genius.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
So we've cut some fabric. We've talked about fabrics. We've talked about Go Quilt. We've talked about different colorways.
Right,
We've talked about how to store your pieces.
right. How to decide how many pieces you need to cut.
Yes.
Right.
So I think we should give away some stuff today.
Oh,
I
well,
think we should
okay.
give away some reward points. What do you think?
Okay, I think that's always a good idea.
All right.
All right, the lucky winner of $100 in AccuQuilt reward points is, drum roll please. It's Lee Y from France. Congratulations.
Congratulations. We were not about to.
I'm not about to try and, but
whole city.
my French is way too rusty for that. But congratulations, that's very exciting.
That's very exciting. All right, Emily, what are our last questions here before we kind of wind down?
Let me see here. You know what? I think we've covered just about, we've covered it all.
Well, I know a lot of you got excited and may have gotten us jump on building these like we did.
Be sure and share them with us, though, on the AccuQuilt or the AQS Facebook page, Project Parade.
Quilting Project
we go.
Parade. She has a block somehow.
And use the hashtag AQSewsSEW.
That's right.
Okay, now, before we go any further, we have tons of specials on our website that we're going to talk about. So
Yes.
first, let's talk about this little guy.
Yes.
Oh,
So
Mr.
yesterday we launched our die to try of the month, the Go Fox die. Isn't he the cutest thing ever?
Super cute.
He is so cute, right? You're seeing, for size purposes, you're seeing him on a 6-inch finished square
Yep.
here.
Yep. And this is one of the blocks from the project that we made, and it's
Right.
we have lots of patterns for free on the website. Now, listen to me carefully. So, the Fox die, if you use the code SHIP50, SHIP50, he will ship to you free if you live in the contiguous U.S.
Yes.
Any order over
Any
$50.
order over $50.
Right? And if you wanted to use the downloadable embroidery files for purchase, because V-Stitch made so many cute
V-Stitch and
ones.
Specialty Designs both outdid themselves.
They did. If you use the code embroidery15, you can take 15% off your downloadable embroidery files. Now remember, you can only use one code, but you can place two orders. So if you want to get your products, so for example, today, if you don't have those setting triangles, 12-inch setting triangles for our project, this is a great one to do.
Oh, yes.
Because it will ship free if you live in the contiguous US.
Yes.
Get our fox dye. He is nearly sold out.
Well, we went over 50%
Before the show yesterday.
the
show yesterday.
And I've got a trivia question for you. We do trivia, we do movie trivia on Tuesday. I have an AccuQuilt trivia question for you.
Okay.
Which embroidery do you think, which Go Fox embroidery was the top seller on our first day out?
Hands down the baseball one because it's Brock's.
It was the embroidery that turns him into a squirrel.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So the top selling Fox embroidery was the Go Squirrel.
There you go. Okay, so ship 50, embroidery 15, and if you're wanting to get a Go Cutter starter set,
Yes.
Use the code CUT50 and take $50 off that.
Okay, well, aren't you full of things?
I have sticky notes.
Now, don't forget, if you have trouble finding a fox, that our local retailers are also carrying
They are.
our die to try. So your local retailer might have a fox for you too.
There you go.
Now to get your order in right now, if you're ordering online, open a new tab in your browser. Type in AccuQuilt.com/party. You'll see the current deals. You can place your order from there. All right, Emily, has anybody thought up more questions for us?
Let's just double check. No, I think everybody's just super excited to get started.
Oh, I'm excited.
So here's the thing. If you think of more questions along the way, go ahead. This is the fabulous thing about a quilt-along like this. Using that Facebook group page, the AQS Quilting Project Parade, and hashtag AQSews, you can post your question. And Pam and I, we're going to be hopping on and off. Well, Pam's kind of busy the next couple of days. I'm going to be hopping on and off and answering questions from time to time. And your fellow quilters will going to be able to help you as well. If you're new to die cutting, if you're new to using this die, if you're rotary cutting, just jump on, join in the community. We all want to see what you're doing.
Excellent. Okay, before we end up, is Courtney helping with our questions today? Who's answering questions? Because we want to thank our team who's offsite.
Yes, we have Katie, we have Courtney, we have Morgan. Yeah, it looks like the three of them have been
So Courtney's new to our team. So
Yes.
thanks, Courtney, for helping out. And Katie and Morgan, they are offsite feeding questions to Emily. So it is time for Erica and I to get ready for our next show. We hope today's show was just what you needed to inspire you to start making blocks for the Go Morning Star Rainbow Quilt. On behalf of Erica and I, we want to thank our team. In the studio, we have Greg and Kenyon and Brock, and of course, the lovely Erica's with me, and Emily. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for watching. To learn more about your quilting craft, be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for live events every Tuesday and Wednesday. You can check out the events page on the AccuQuilt website for more details on upcoming shows. And if you're looking for even more inspiration, visit our blog for exclusive tutorials filled with tips and tricks. And remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more.
Don't forget to check out our events page to see all our upcoming events. Signing up for our events means that you're entered to win a door prize that we'll give away during the show, so you'll want to tune in and see if you won.
And be sure to join me every Wednesday at 12 noon Central Time for AccuQuilt Live. Next week, we're going to start sewing our blocks together for the AQS AccuQuilt-Along.
Join us every Tuesday at 12 noon Central Time for launch parties and trunk shows. These events are filled with tips, tricks, and inspiration. Next time, we'll be making last-minute gifts for dads and grads. We'll see you there.